I want to be X-Men. A dirt bike man. Police. I want to be a grown-up.
In Georgia, more than 380,000 children under the age of 5 are cared for out of their homes. More than 60% of families have 2 working parents. 20% of Georgia's children live in poverty. 36% live with a single parent. And 28% of Georgia children live in families where no parent has full-time, year-round employment. Thanks to the visionary leadership of Governor Zell Miller, Georgia was one of the first states to enact universal pre-kindergarten. Funded by the state lottery, Universal Pre-K promises every Georgia child, no matter what his economic circumstances, the opportunity to enter school ready to learn.
We are preparing students to become lifelong learners. For example, when building a house, you start with its foundation. The foundation needs to be solid and strong. Once you have built that foundation, you can be assured that the rest of the house is going to be solid and strong. Pre-K is the foundation in our students' lives. If they start solid and strong, then the rest of their educational years will be solid and strong.
He looked for Amy, but she had run off crying.
We know that if children are going to read well by the end of 3rd grade, they absolutely have to have exposure to oral language. You need to love them, you need to hug them, you need to feed them, you need to play with them, but all the time and all of those things, if you're not talking to them and listening to them, they will not read by the end of 3rd grade. So that, for me, is a deal breaker in that environment of early care and learning.
Then she dropped her sister's marbles on the kitchen floor.
The investment of our children at this age is crucial. Research has shown us over the years that children learn the most between 0 to 3. It's almost, if you could picture a window being open. And it's our responsibility as educators and parents to put as much knowledge and positive outcomes into that window before that window starts to close.
Very good.
There is a huge difference in my mind between a child who comes to school ready to learn and a child that does not. A child who comes to school ready to learn has more of an opportunity to continue learning and to be ready to embrace early literacy skills. They do well in embracing math skills. Those students are less apt to be retained in earlier grades. They enter 4th grade ready to read to learn rather than to learn to read.
If you really want to talk about challenges for our children, children from lower income families, the data make clear, arrive at preschool having heard 30 million less words than their more affluent peers. That gap in the amount of words that have been heard, the language to which the child has been exposed, has been demonstrated to be a very, very strong predictor of reading success in school. The language has to be coming in the room like air is coming through the vent, because that's going to be their oxygen that's going to predict not only their survival but ability to thrive in an informationist society. Without language, you're lost. You're not competing.
My skin in this game is that I see the families, the consequences of children not reading at grade level when they were 8 years old, and now they're parents, and they're raising a 2nd generation of kids who won't read at 3rd grade. Moreover, we also know that children who don't read at grade level are at risk of a host of things: pregnancy too soon, drug use, winding up in the juvenile justice system. This turns out to be a deal breaker for kids.
We have 138 children on the waiting list, and that's unfair. That's because we just don't have space for our 138 children. So in the back of my mind, if you were to walk with me, that's 138 children that are not being served. That's 138 children that are just home or wherever. That's 138, maybe double that, of parents that are unemployed because they don't have anyone to watch their children who they trust that will make a difference. Funding is needed. It's needed. If we could take the roof off and add 14 additional classrooms just in this center, parents in this community would just blow away.
It'd be tempting to think that this is an education problem only. It'd be tempting to think it's a social problem and that we need to wait on the government, or we need to wait on foundations, we need to wait on school districts and departments of ed to invest and make this problem go away. But the reality of it is that this is a problem that we all must own, because our economy today and tomorrow is distinctly different than the economy of the past. And if our children are not reading in this economy that is before us, they will not only put themselves at risk, they put our nation at risk.
Policymakers can make sure that there's quality early learning care is available to all families and increase the number of pre-K slots in the state of Georgia. They can also raise the license standards for early learning centers to make them quality centers for our kids to attend.
Every child in Georgia is born with the same potential, just not the same opportunity. Here in Georgia, with all the people and resources and leadership we have, we really do have a chance to lead the nation. And in the vision statement of GEARS, by 2020, Georgia will lead the nation in ensuring that each child is ready to learn in kindergarten on a path to read to learn by 3rd grade. That's the excitement. Georgia can be out front of the rest of the nation if we have the political and moral and civic will to make it happen.